me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
It's mental health, it's physical health, it's how we keep our communities healthy, it's how we engage. It's just everything, it's people engage with our facilities, engage with our parks and things like that, and they don't even know it. You could almost say it would be hard to find someone that hasn't interacted with some types of parks and rec facility or park or whatever in their lives. They may not realize that they're out there doing it.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show Leadership Series. In this episode, we're joined by Jonathan Winters, Recreation Superintendent for the City of Richardson, one of the most forward-thinking parks and rec departments in the Dallas Metro. In this conversation, Jonathan shares how he went from private fitness to municipal recreation, how Richardson built a thriving marketing and social media team from scratch, and why servant leadership and constant learning shape every decision he makes. We dive into their major special events, including festivals that draw tens of thousands, Richardson's approach to storytelling, community engagement, and even how autonomous mowers are transforming their athletic fields. If you care about leadership, culture, youth development, or the next generation of parks and rec professionals, this is an episode you'll want to lean into. Let's dive in.
All right, this is Craig LeBlanc again with the Daily Parks and Rec Show Leadership Series. Every Monday through Thursday, 12 noon Eastern, I have a special guest from the great state of Texas in the great metropolitan area of Dallas, from the great city of Richardson, a tiny city of 119,000 people, which is small in Texas, would be like the third largest city in Louisiana. How's your week going so far, Jonathan?
It's going great. We got beautiful weather out here. I think fall has finally hit in Dallas, which is kind of a nice reprieve from some of the heat we've had.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a beautiful day here.
Yeah, I love that background. We were chatting about it earlier. One thing about Parks and Rec departments, they're usually right in the middle of the park system, and they have just some beautiful landscape they get to be all in and around.
Yep. Yeah, I'm sitting in one of our rec centers here, and we have this great park out back here, so I figured I'd try to get featured a little bit for you guys.
Fantastic. That's a big oak tree for Texas.
Yes, it is. It sure is.
Seeing those in New Orleans, but Texas usually they're a little bit smaller. That's a gorgeous one.
Yeah, we got a couple of pretty big ones right around here. So
yeah. All right. Well, as usual, we're going to play a couple promos in the beginning. One of them, I'll probably get as much mileage as I can out of our 300th episode. Thank you, because it's just been such a wild ride to get to 300 episodes in about 10 months. Couldn't have done it with men like Jonathan that are willing to come on and share their story, how they got into Parks and Rec, where they think things are going. And then after that, we have now officially opened up for strategic partners. My goal is to get 20 strategic partners by the end of the year, and then we're going to cut it off. So we're not going to take any more than 20 strategic partners that want to help us in the year of 2026 build this media company for the Parks and Rec industry. We've already got 5 signed on. We're talking to about 17 others, and 60 others is the biggest I've seen the spreadsheet go. So they're going fast. We're going to cut it off at 20, first come, first serve. So if you're interested in helping us to create content for this industry and have your brands elevated at the same time, please reach out to me and we'll get that conversation going. So we'll play our 300th episode thank you video, followed by our strategic partners promo, and then we'll come back and start a great conversation with Jonathan.
300 episodes. What started as a small idea, a way to share stories from the parks and recreation community, has grown into something truly special. From heartfelt conversations to behind-the-scenes stories that celebrate everyday heroes, every episode, every message, every listen has been powered by you. To our loyal listeners, our partners, and every Parks and Rec professional who continues to inspire us, thank you. You've helped us grow, you've helped us evolve, and you've reminded us why we do this, to tell stories that matter. This milestone isn't just ours, it's yours too. As we celebrate our 300th episode, we look ahead to the next chapter. More stories, more community, more impact. From all of us here at DPRS Media Company, thank you for believing in us, for tuning in, and for helping us make it this far. Here's to the next 300 episodes and beyond. Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.
All right. So 10 months to make 311th episode. We will crush the 400th episode. So we'll do 300 in roughly 10 months. We'll do 100 just in November, looks like.
Oh, wow.
So we are well on our way to cranking out the volume of content we need to do a 24/7 ESPN style programming, but all for Parks and Rec. And I'd like to, first of all, it looks like you've got you've considered your background. You've got it looks like you got a headset. You must be, somewhat of a veteran for content creation. Have you ever done podcasts or anything like that before?
This is actually my first podcast. I think I'm fortunate. We do a lot of social media stuff here, and we have a great AV team here in the city. So I kind of walked into them and I said, this is what I'm doing. What do you guys suggest? And they're like, take this, take this, take this, take this light to everything. So they said, this is what you're going to be set up with, and go sit in this room and have a pretty background. I said, sounds great to me. So they set me up right. So here I am. But
yeah, well, it's looking great. You got good sound, good lighting, good background. Head is centered in the screen. I'm like, okay, there's something special going on here. And let's talk a little bit about that. Why don't you tell everybody about your Facebook group that you started, or page that you started for Parks and
so
Rec?
just a couple months ago, I started a Facebook page called the Rec Network. Honestly, it's just kind of a way for folks to connect. We have a unique, I think, industry where we don't have a problem sharing ideas with each other. I came from private industry earlier in my career where it was a little bit more cutthroat, and it's a little bit more, you got to come up with the idea because you need that revenue and you need those customers, everything. In Parks and Rec, we're all just trying to serve our communities in the best way that we possibly can. So I saw an opportunity of is there a way that we can connect more of those folks, so that they can connect with each other, not only in terms of sharing information, but helping each other out within their careers as well. So it's still kind of early on. I think we're about 2.5 months in or something like that, and we are almost at 500 members. So hopefully on our way to a pretty large group and a pretty large community that we can expand on. I'm hoping to have quarterly meetings where we can bring in speakers, and I'm sure there's more ideas that will come from it. I have a whole list of them right now. But even trying to get a couple other folks that might be interested in kind of coming in and forming a kind of a small idea board, that we can kind of bounce ideas off each other, once or twice a month or something like that, to just kind of see, how can we continue to expand this, and have a big impact on Parks and Rec as a community as a whole.
Yeah. And is that a Facebook group or page?
Yes, it's a Facebook group.
Mhm.
So, I joke with one of my employees. I'm probably like one of the most annoying people on LinkedIn, because of the amount of people that I invite going through my through my LinkedIn page. But um, I guess they're only getting one invite from me. I'm just sending out hundreds of them. So, if you're out there and you're listening and you want to be a part of our community, I encourage you to look us up and join in.
Yeah. And what's the name of the group again?
It's called the Rec Network.
The Rec Network. I love it.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I would love to for all of my audience listening on X, Nostr, through Primal, um, YouTube. I think we actually had a similar page that we started, or group that we started, called the Daily. No, what was it? It was a Parks and Rec done right,
Okay.
and that's getting close to 5,000 members. Um, so I think it'd be a good group to join as well. And then if y'all would like to create monthly stuff and y'all need some help on the technical side, or just want to show up and record, I'd love to help kind of get the word out for that. And so let
Okay.
me know if I can help facilitate any of that at all.
Yeah, that would be great.
Um, Love to do a monthly show with y'all, if possible, because
Oh,
I think the mission's the same. It's like you said, there's so many good ideas scattered, and siloed throughout the country, and the more we can get that knowledge and wisdom out there, I think the more efficient all of our Parks and Rec departments can be, just sharing ideas and stuff. So that's kind of a similar mission.
yeah, exactly. Our program might look a little bit different than yours when we implement it, but the idea is the same.
Yep.
Recently we've been looking at youth mentorship programs here in Richardson. So, I
Mm.
think we've connected with 8 or 10 different cities across the country, and we're just trying to look at what that's going to look like for us. But if we can take all those different pieces and what's worked well for them, why not be able to share that information to create the best possible program we can here, and learns from some of the growing pains from some of the other folks around the country as well.
Well, just look at us as like a big megaphone. Whatever you're producing, we just want to amplify it. We just want to
All right,
crank the volume on it.
that sounds great.
Fantastic. All right, so let's go back to your early life, high school, college, kind of who you were growing up, and then eventually we'll lead to how your journey came into
Yeah.
Parks and Rec.
So I grew up in a little town in Ohio called Athens, Ohio. It's where Ohio University is. If anybody out there is familiar with that. Kind of, I was a Parks and Rec kid. I played all the sports, did all the things. I was a lifeguard when I turned 16. Actually went to Ohio Universities out of college or for college, and worked in their campus recreation. So I was in aquatics and athletics for their different campus rec facilities. Um, in college, I had no idea that I would end up in Parks and Recreation, or really even campus recreation, any type of recreation at all. I was a exercise physiology major. I figured I'd be working either with a athletic team or in some type of hospital setting, doing cardiac rehab or something along those lines. I graduated in '09, and as you probably know, there weren't a ton of jobs out there at that point. Went straight into kind of private fitness. So I was doing personal training coming out of college. Kind of worked my way into managing private fitness facilities. So I worked with a company that was actually a private or a property management company. And essentially, they build like giant hubs of communities. So in the center of that hub, they'll build a fitness center with athletic fields of some kind, aquatic facility of some kind, and then they have like a restaurant and their sales office. So I was brought on to run several of their facilities in the Columbus, Ohio area. Um, so I got to do that, and I actually got to be part of their kind of opening team. So we looked at different areas in the Midwest. Was at Indianapolis and Nashville and Knoxville, a couple other ones, where we got to go in and open different facilities for them. So I got to be part of the kind of the design process of that, and kind of what it would look like to staff and figure out all the processes that would go into actually bringing one of these fitness facilities and athletic facilities kind of on board for them. From there, I loved that job. I thought it was great. We ended up moving down here to Dallas for my wife's job, and we love it down here. So we're happy I made the move. But obviously gave up a job I liked there. Came down here, was working for the YMCA, actually randomly right here in Richardson when I first got here. Wasn't there very long. I was there about 6 months, until I got introduced into Parks and Rec. So, I was aware of Parks and Recreation, but I had never really kind of, I guess, looked at it as a career path. Um, City of Coppell had a position open that was, fitness and athletics, which was definitely, kind of my background, and a management position in one of their rec centers. So I applied, got the job, and I have not looked back since. I think once I got into the municipal Parks and Rec piece, it was just, it fit me very well. It fit kind of the beliefs I have, um, the way that I like to kind of serve the community and everything like that. So I was there for 6 years. Uh, then came over here, Richardson, came into a position called our corporate recreation manager, which runs a very unique program here for us. So we have a program called the Richardson Corporate Challenge, and it is essentially a giant Olympics for companies in the DFW area, and it is one of the three largest of its kind in the country. So it's us, Kansas City, and Las Vegas are the three biggest, and we can bring in up to 54 companies within our program, um, and it is anything from softball, flag football, soccer, kind of very competitive things, all the way down to dominoes and poker. So the idea is that we have something for everyone in your company. If there's somebody that wants to participate in a recreation activity, we have something that they can participate in and compete for their company against these other companies. So it creates this great camaraderie within your company. And then we have a aspect of it where we raise money for Special Olympics Texas too. So through, I believe it's 27 years now, we've raised over just a $3.6 million that we've been able to give back
Wow.
to Special Olympics Texas. So each company has an amount that they have to raise each year. Obviously, some of them go well and beyond that $1,000 that we ask them to, or they just have some pretty big donations that come in.
Mhm.
So from that, I was promoted up into our superintendent position, which is where I'm in right now. So I oversee both of our rec centers, our senior center, and then we have a recreation event team here, and then also a social media team that I oversee as well.
Mm. So let's talk more about that social media team. What is that like?
So when I came to this position, it was essentially our admin for our department was the person doing it. So, it was kind of just a piece of her job. And it was very kind of ad driven, I guess is what you could call our social media. It was, we have an upcoming program, here's a flyer for it, just not very interactive. So, we had a social media presence, but it wasn't very intentional. So coming into the position, when I was in Coppell, we had someone that was designated to just doing our marketing for the department.
Mhm.
So I approached our leadership and said, is this something that we could explore? Um, Budget wise at the time, it was not, we couldn't hire someone in full time, but it's kind of a, well, if you can figure out a way to explore that and do it in house kind of thing, like let's run with it. We had an individual who's our event manager for all of our recreation events, who I approached and said, would you be interested in doing this? Uh, she kind of dove right in and she took my kind of ideas and she makes them absolutely amazing. It was, I can't think of a better fit than we've had with her stepping in that position. So it's been about 10 months now. We've like doubled our followers on both of our social media platforms, and our engagement is at 3 or 4 times the amount on all of our posts. And we essentially just went from having kind of like an ad type social media to more like let's tell our story. So
Mm.
all of our our content is more based around just the experience that you're gonna get when you
Mm.
come to one of our programs. So we're still building that because we haven't even been in through a full year of all of our events and everything. So we're collecting all that media so that come next year we can be even better at it. We can kind of use those videos, use all those pictures to tell that story a little bit better. Um, One other really fun thing we did with social media. So I'm sure you're probably aware July is Parks and Rec month.
Mhm.
So we created a little mascot for ourselves called Dilly the Dillo. It's literally a little stuffed animal armadillo. um, and we were going to use that to promote our programs and our camps and just anything going on essentially in the summertime. We took him out to the pool, we took him to parks, and we noticed that one of our neighboring cities here, Frisco, had a little stuffed animal mascot as well. So we reached out to him and said, would you guys be interested in kind of doing a back and forth social media campaign with us? And they were like, absolutely, let's do it. So they kind of started out as frenemies. They were kind of challenging each other, pickleball matches and things like that, and comparing different facilities and that kind of stuff. And then about midway through the month, we had them become friends, and they ended up meeting up and going out to some of their different events. So we shared one of ours with the city, and they gave us one of theirs, so we could kind of take them out to our events and promote, kind of cross back and forth between all of our audiences, since it's really about 20 minutes apart, and we figured there's a possibility that you know the citizens here would be attending something that you guys might doing, and same thing back and forth.
Yeah.
So kind of a unique thing we did there, and something that we had a lot of fun with.
Fantastic. Now, what do y'all do with y'all's comment sections? Do y'all leave that turned on and kind of engage with the audience?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we leave it on, and then we are just kind of constantly monitoring it and engaging with them as much as we possibly can.
Yeah. I know some cities are kind of afraid to turn it on because of some type of liability, or what if they say something bad about the city or something happened, and so they just leave it off. But I know when you're trying to build a community, that comment section is a great way to really engage your community. What would you say to somebody who has their comment section turned off, and maybe encouraging words as why you would want to keep that on?
Um, I would say I think you're missing opportunities on how to engage with your community. We get to answer a lot of questions through there that probably save a lot of phone calls from our rec centers. But it's also just that engagement piece. I think it makes them feel a little bit more like they're a part of our community, a part of our rec department, and that they see the response time that we have on them, which we try to respond to anything within 24 hours, usually quicker than that, so that we can get quick information to them, and they see us as a resource that they can use through, whether it be private messages or that comment section.
Yeah. And who's managing that? Is that one person y'all have kind of earmarked for the marketing department?
So we started with just her, and then we've kind of formed a marketing team from that. So we've plucked some kind of mostly young professionals, but it's somebody from every single facility that we have here in the city, and then a couple of other areas as well. So every area is represented, and we all meet together about once a month to talk about what's our following month going to look like in terms of content creation and everything like that. So we have it all mapped out, exactly what's going to be posted on each day. Obviously, there's going to be things that come up, but that way we can spread that out and have individuals help, so it's not just all on one person, especially with obviously the way that Parks and Rec cycles through in terms of busyness of different seasons for folks.
Yeah. Now, you said y'all use Facebook. What's the other social media platform y'all use?
Instagram.
Instagram. And so
Yep.
how does the content differ from one platform to the other?
Majority of it we share on both. We do for our senior population, only share some of them on Facebook, just because from I guess the metrics that we've looked at, and we see the most engagement from that population on Facebook and not on Instagram. So
Mhm.
we make sure that anything that's going to be directed to them is absolutely on Facebook. And sometimes we're sharing it back and forth as well, just kind of depending on what that content is.
Mm. Yeah, because do y'all do like short form videos, or do y'all have your marketing person kind of go out to special events and kind of record a little bit and then come back and post that?
Yeah, kind of all of the above. A lot of it is, like you're saying, going out and recording and coming back in creation. Sometimes it is, we'll actually be out at the event, and we just have someone designated to the social media, essentially. So, perfect example, we had an event here, gosh, what was it, 2 weeks ago, I guess, and unfortunately got rained out midway through the day. So I was kind of assigned as our social media person for the day. So I was going around and getting content and stuff, but then we're able to push out those updates, kind of right in the minute of, we have a rain delay currently right now, and then what ultimately became a cancellation just because of the weather, but then also encouraging people to come back out the next day. So um, at that time, we had a couple people hop on to help do the creation of the stuff, but we have someone there so we can create stories, and we can create kind of live action on our social media as well.
And how are y'all capturing that? Just through like a regular iPhone or something like that, or you have a camera?
Yep, yeah, it's just through iPhones, and then we have some stabilization tools that we use to kind of walk around and make our videos smooth as we possibly can.
Yeah, yeah, and gosh, today it seems like just your regular smartphone is almost all that you need to go out to an
Yeah.
event, capture what you need, and then you come back and kind of create something special.
Yep.
It really doesn't take much nowadays, to capture content. It seems like everybody's walking around with everything you need
Yeah, really.
just in your pocket. Um, Tell me about some of the special events that y'all run in, Richardson.
Yeah, so we have, kind of I guess the basic ones that a lot of communities have. We have your daddy daughter dance, Easter event. Our Easter events, we revamped it a little bit this past year. We turned it into an Easter trail. So, we used to just have kind of the standard Easter egg hunt. We wanted to engage a little bit more of our community. So we had vendors come out and each vendor had to have an activity. So it's kind of like a trunk or treat, but it's with, different corporation or different companies in the community that they can come out and kind of show off their company a little bit, but they're also providing the candy and they're providing an activity for the kids as well. So they get to kind of go up. What we found is it kept the kids there a lot longer, kept the families there a little bit more engaged. So uh, it is already growing and kind of there's already excitement kind of from some more companies to participate this year. So those are kind of our smaller ones. We have nature walks, we have, a variety of other kind of the smaller activities that kind of most cities have. And then we also have some pretty large festivals here in the city as well. So we have another team called our community events team that puts on some kind of, we call them regional events.
Mm,
So we have one called Wildflower Festival. And that one is a music and art festival that spans 3 days. And gosh, probably 30 to 50,000 people
wow.
come through that event over those 3 days. So we try to get some national headline music. There's art vendors that come out. There's a singer songwriter competition where people in the local area here can come and compete. And they've had a few groups that there are a few individuals that have come through and kind of gone on to record deals and stuff like that as they've, you know, progressed up. And most of them are high school students or kind of college kids that are in that program. But yeah, it's a pretty amazing deal. We transform a business park here in town into a giant festival for a couple of days. So it's about a 2 week ordeal for our staff to transform that whatever that property into an event and then back into something that can just be used for the businesses. But it's something that's very unique and special, I think, to Richardson and something that the residents kind of here hold very dearly to them. And then we have some other ones too. We have a Cottonwood Art Festival as well. So that one is definitely made more based toward the art. Obviously, we had art in our Wildflower one as well. That one's a 2-day event, and gosh, I think they bring in 20 or 30,000 people across those events as well. And we do that one twice a year. So we do that one in the fall and the spring. And there's a music aspect to that one. There's kids areas where the kids can come in and do um, different art activities and things like that. And then we have an emerging artists program with that one as well. So the different high schools here in town can submit things, and we going to give out scholarship opportunities based on whoever gets voted in by our judges as the greatest artist as from our emerging young folks there.
Yeah,
Um, we also have, so gosh, we do one called Santa's Village, where we transform an entire park into Santa's Village. We have these little dwelling houses that come out, and each dwelling is a different activity for kids that they can come in and participate. And we have Santa and then Mrs. Claus, and um, just some pretty unique things and very special to our community here.
yeah. It seems like they have a lot of Parks and Rec departments are starting to really lean into these somewhat of a mega event. And
Yeah.
that's like you said, 30, 40, 50,000 people. That's got to be a huge economic driver for the from a tax basis for the local community, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, we always have an entire department that that kind of brings those metrics in for us afterwards. And yeah, it's definitely a big hotel revenue and restaurant revenue thing for the community as well.
Yeah. Do y'all use any type of software to kind of track the traffic, spending habits, whether from in of town, out of town, stuff like that?
Um, yes, I know they use etix to sell. I believe there's another one as well, but I can't remember the name of the software that they use.
Yeah. Now, do y'all kinda look at that as, "Hey, if we spend a little more money on this, we can maybe grow by 50%, and then that kind of brings in a certain amount of economy," or how do y'all kinda budget for those?
Um, yes, like I say, it's not my my direct area of of management, but yes, there's definitely some that to it, and especially when we're looking at the bands. So we work with a booking agency to try to find, who's going to be the best act for us that's going to bring in the most people to our facility or to our festival, but also stay within a budget that we have designated for them. So, and we're operating two big main stages, as well as two smaller stages outside, and then we have some indoor facilities and we have a art facility or arts and performance facility called the Eisman Center, that folks are performing inside on stage as well.
Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so we're kind of gotten close to the halfway point. What I'd like to do is play something for our facilities maintenance show. It's something we're steadily trying to build up. We want to create or continue to create a show just on facilities maintenance. We've been told by pretty much the entire industry when we ask the question if there's some part of this industry that needs content creation, and so many times they come back to facilities maintenance because that's a big chunk of the work that's done in Parks and Rec is just maintaining this huge real estate portfolio. So I'll play that, and then one of our oldest sponsors, Palco LED Lighting, they are able to light one of your baseball fields with new LED lights for like $35,000, which is usually like a fifth of the cost of a lot of the other prices that you might get. So I'll play the little promo for them, and then I'd like to get you to talk a little bit about what it means to maintain these facilities. So I'll play those two and then come right back.
Okay.
When you invest in our high-performance LED sports arena lights, you're not just upgrading your facilities, you're helping us illuminate the untold stories of parks and recreation communities. Every purchase directly supports the Daily Parks and Rec Show, a media platform on a mission to celebrate the heart and soul of our local parks and programs. From after-school activities to summer leagues, these spaces shape lives, and their stories deserve to be told. Why your support matters. Capturing community impact. Your contribution helps us assemble a talented team of digital artists, storytellers, and filmmakers to create compelling videos, articles, and short films that spotlight how Parks and Rec programs change lives. Sharing untold stories. From a child's first home run to lifelong friendships forged on the court, we'll document these priceless moments and share them with the world. Inspiring the next generation. By highlighting the joy, inclusivity, and opportunities found in our parks, we foster a deeper appreciation for these vital community spaces. Light up arenas, brighten futures. Your choice to install LED sports arena lights isn't just a smart investment in energy efficiency and performance, it's an investment in stories that deserve to be told. Be part of the story. Take action today. Purchase LED sports arena lights and help us shine a spotlight on the heartwarming stories that define our parks and communities. Contact us now to learn more about our products and how your support fuels the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Together, we'll shine a light on the moments that matter most.
Behind every thriving park, every safe playground, every event-ready field, there's a team working before sunrise and long after sunset. This is Facility Maintenance, the only show created for and by the unsung heroes of parks and recreation. Brought to you by DPRS Media Co., where real work gets real recognition. From restrooms to rec centers, HVAC to turf tech, we go beyond the job site into the heart of operations that keep our communities moving. Our mission? To elevate maintenance teams through stories, solutions, and shared experience. Our vision? A world where every facility crew is seen, valued, and fully supported. Each episode features operators, innovators, and leaders, sharing tools, tech, and tactics that make the impossible look easy. Facility maintenance isn't just a job, it's purpose, it's passion, and now it's a show. Facility Maintenance, where tools meet purpose, where work becomes legacy.
All right. So anything to be said about the facilities maintenance side of Parks and Rec?
Um, here in Richardson and kind of everywhere I've ever worked, we talk a lot about kind of that hospitality mindset and that customer experience mindset. Um, and obviously facility maintenance really falls into that. So we talk a lot about safety, and we talk about when someone comes into your facility, from the moment that they step out of your car or out of their car and they're walking up to your facility, what's the experience that they're having, what are they seeing, what are they feeling, that kind of thing. And without that, those teams that are maintaining the outside of our facilities, that without the teams that are helping us keep our facilities safe on the inside, people are going to form a very different opinion of you, just based on what their experience as they walk in. So, we talk to our staff about, the moment that you get out of your car, you're helping provide that experience. The moment that someone steps out of their car to walk into our facilities, they're experiencing that. So, how do we make sure, and we do, monthly walkthroughs in all of our facilities, to make sure that everything is upkept and everything is, kind of cross our T's, dot our I's as much as we possibly can, so that when somebody walks in our facility, they feel like it's a safe space, they feel like it's a welcoming space. And without those teams that can help us create that, there's no way that we can create those customer experiences that we're hoping to. So what we call, these guys might be kind of our unsung heroes a lot of the time, but they
Mhm.
are so vital to us providing the great experience and the great atmosphere that we can for our public. So I love that you're trying to do a show on them, and kind of bring that aspect in, because it's something that I think gets taken for granted for a lot, but it's something that is so important for our operations.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Now, is there anything, like, as far as the robotics and all that stuff coming in, that are you using any of the sprayers or any of the autonomous lawnmowers? I know that's kinda changing a lot of how we maintain our facilities.
Yeah, so it's actually a contractor that we use, but a lot of our athletic fields are right now are mowed by autonomous mowers. So
Wow.
they came in and mapped all of our facilities, and they come in and mow them with them. So it's kind of fun to watch. They bring in their truck, and it's like four of them go off and they're mowing every field at one time, and it's just one guy sitting there controlling the whole thing. Public kind of enjoys driving by and seeing these little robotic mowers. I mean, little, I say they're like 4 feet across or something like that,
Mm.
out there mowing our fields. But yeah, it's neat to see that new technology piece kind of coming in and having a big impact.
So y'all just have a third party, like a local contractor that kinda just bids on it and they use autonomous mowers?
Yeah, and that's just for our athletic facility or our athletic fields. Our parks right now are still maintained by our park staff.
Mm, I see. Okay. And then, let's see, I'm shifting gears a little bit. I wanted to talk about all the different types of associations that you've attended. I know you're somewhat active in TRAP, so maybe tell people about what Texas Parks and Rec, is like as far as an association.
Um, Gosh, it's the only one that I've ever been associated with, so I feel very
Yeah.
fortunate, because looking around the country, I think it is one that a lot of other states kind of emulate to
Mm,
try to strive to be. It is, I've heard it called a machine, and it that is exactly what it is. We
okay.
are. It pumps out conference information, it pumps out sessions and things like that, at kind of an unbelievable amount. I'm actually attending our North Conference here on Monday, and I think attending that one, that is probably at the level of some other state conferences.
Mm,
It's pretty incredible, the amount of people that are willing to come and participate and speak at something like that. And then from the state level, I've participated as a volunteer, helping put on the sessions and that kind of thing in the past. And it's great to be a part of that. It's great that the connections that you can make through that kind of thing. And it's just amazing to see how many people will come together for those conferences, and kind of make those connections and get together to learn and share that information. Yeah, it's an amazing organization, and we're very lucky to have it here in the state.
mm. And so is that like a 1 or 2-day event, for the North Texas, region?
Yeah, it's just a 1 day event. I believe all the regional ones are just 1 day events,
Mhm.
and then the state one, it's 3 or 4 days. I forget exactly.
And so they do that, what, once you said once or twice a year?
The regional one, yeah, so everything's once a year. So the regional ones are once a year, and then the state ones once a year as well.
Yeah. Um, Now, what are some of the other, like you had mentioned something about the athletic business conference, AB show.
Yep.
It's like, now that's a more of a similar to NRPA, but maybe tell us a little bit
Yep.
about that.
Yeah, that's one I got to attend when I was in the city of Coppell. So that was just kind of always the one that was earmarked for the position that I was in. And yeah, it's probably very similar in terms of size and as like an NRPA. So there are thousands of people that come to that, and it is a spread of Parks and Rec professionals, campus recreation, military fitness, and then they have a medical fitness aspect to it as well. So I think Parks and Rec is maybe about a third of that. So
Mhm.
you know, neat to go in and be able to be a part of a large conference like that and kind of connect, not only with folks that are in our industry, but some that are kind of in adjacent industries as well.
Yeah, yeah. So let's and this might kinda, bleed into that one, but as far as staff development, you had mentioned that you love staff development. So what does that mean for you as far as in Parks and Rec, staff development?
Yeah, I really do. It's people talk about like the things that like kind of fill them up, and staff development and mentoring is something that really, um, I realize you can do it in a lot of different industries, but being able to do it in this industry and have that be a part of my job is something that I just love and love to be have as part of my day to day and something that I can kind of focus on. So I'm a mentor with the academy.
Mhm,
Um, so I have a mentee with the city of Fort Worth right now. I've done a few other mentees in the past as well. And then we do a lot of in-house stuff here as well. We're actually forming we're actually calling it our academy here in-house as well to kind of develop our future leaders within our department. So it's something that I'm really proud to be a part of in terms of the national academy as well as our department here. In Richardson and just being able to help those young professionals. I came into Parks and Rec when I was, I think, believe about 30. And I think by the time I realized that there were all these resources for young professionals, I was pretty much aging out of them.
yeah,
So I try to share those resources with our young professionals to get them as much involved, whether it be in TRAPS or NRPA or any of the other organizations out there as I possibly can, so that they can have those opportunities. That are available to them and they can make those connections early on in their career and help them propel themselves to what they want to do, whether that be here in Richardson or somewhere else. I'm here to help them. I'm here to help get them to whatever they want to do in their career. And if I can be even a small part of that, it just kind of, like I said, just kind of lifts me up.
yeah, yeah, that's certainly definitely investing into the future generation is gonna be running this, industry. Um, is there anything as far as, internship programs that y'all do at Richardson?
We have some interns that actually come from some of our local high schools.
Mhm,
So right now our department has two interns. So we have one that's kind of with our event side right now. So she works with our recreation event manager as well as our community event team. So she kind of goes back and forth, and just depending on what the next event is, kind of what season we're in. And then we also have another intern that is with our parks department. So both of them just had an interest in this as a potential career path and major, I guess, in college. So we actually, I think across the city we have about 50 interns from the local high schools. But yeah, it's definitely a neat program to kind of get them that young and show them kind of what our industry is about. uh, I think a lot of people don't even realize that this industry exists or that it can be such a great career for them. So be able to share that to these not young professionals even, young individuals, as a potential career path for them is really something that's great that I think the city does. And hopefully we can even expand on that in the future.
yeah, 'cause I know a lot of departments, are really trying to crank up an internship program, and then I know Texas has a really robust, young professionals network, kind of going off the NRPA Young Professionals Network, which we actually have our first intern that started this week. Michael
That's
Moreau
awesome.
is in Pennsylvania. He's going to be running our Friday show from now on, and we'll probably have actually two interns running that. But maybe talk about some of the different that college kids or students might not consider a career path in Parks and Rec because they're not strictly involved in Parks and Rec. I'm thinking like accounting or marketing if you're in marketing, you definitely have a position in Parks and Rec departments. But what are some of the other career paths inside of Parks and Rec?
Um, you mean from like, I guess like a college kid, like looking at as a potential career? Is that what you're saying? Or,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, I think it's something that our industry needs to do a much better job at. I think there's a lot of opportunities, and I think a lot of kids just don't even realize those opportunities are out there. I think it's getting into those, whether it be career days or getting into the programs that still exist, and really sharing, in those sports marketing and those, that type of a major of letting them know like this is a career path that you can go into and you can have a great success. There's a lot more jobs in Parks and Rec than there are in professional sports. So
Yeah.
getting into uh, that group of students that all think they're going to be the general manager of whatever local athletic team they have or college or whatever, and showing them that you can have a great career in this. You can still make good money. You can still, have a lot of fun, and you can have a huge impact on your community. Maybe even a greater impact than you would if you were with whatever athletic team or college or whatever, because you're being able to push this out to, depending on the size of the community, it may be over 1 million people. So just, I think getting that information to those kids and sharing our story is an important aspect. And I think it's an important thing on why podcasts like this are so important for our industry right now, and being able to share that story with them and with everyone else on what exactly does this all entail, and how could it be something that I'm a part of in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'd like to shift a little into the financing of Parks and Rec. I want to play this, our most popular video we've ever created. We created this kind of as a thank you to the industry. We wanted to create something that reframes the conversation around why Parks and Rec is an essential service. And it seems like Texas has always done a really good job of funding their Parks and Rec department. I see some of the best funded Parks and Rec departments inside of Texas. Whereas, and I know everybody kind of struggles with, being still called that essential service. So I'd like to play this for you real quick and then get your feedback on that.
Okay.
Here we go.
When we talk about essential services, what comes to mind? Police, firefighters, healthcare. But there's another essential service, often overlooked, yet always present. Parks and recreation. Parks and Rec is health. It's the walking trail that lowers blood pressure, the recreation center where seniors fight isolation, the swim lessons that prevent tragedy before it happens. This isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Parks and Rec is safety, a playground instead of a street corner, a basketball court instead of trouble, a summer camp where every child belongs. It's not just about activity, it's about protection, prevention, and possibility. Parks and Rec is community, the festival that brings neighbors together, the cultural event that teaches respect and diversity, the open space where a city breathes. It builds bridges where division once stood. It gives people a reason to gather, to connect, to care. And Parks and Rec is economics. It strengthens property values. It drives tourism through events and trails. It saves on healthcare costs. Every dollar invested multiplies, feeding back into schools, into safety, into growth. Essential service is not just about survival, it's about thriving. And Parks and Recreation is where thriving begins. In wellness, in equity, in culture, and in joy. Parks and Rec isn't extra, it's essential. For our health, for our safety, for our communities, for our future. A message from the Parks and Recreation community.
All right. So Jonathan, why is Parks and Rec essential for Richardson, Texas?
Gosh, I think it's everything you just outlined in that video. I love that video. It's health of the community. If we don't have these spaces where individuals can come out and um, either share with each other, share with their families, or come into our rec centers and actually, be on a treadmill, do whatever. It's mental health, it's physical health, it's how we keep our communities healthy, it's how we engage. Um, i- it's it's just everything. It's people engage with our facilities, engage with our parks and things like that, and they don't even know it. It's you could almost say it would be hard to find someone that hasn't interacted with some types of parks and rec facility or park or whatever in their lives. They may not realize that they're out there doing it, um, but they're out there. They've walked in a park, they've participated in a youth program. Um, it may not be top of mind for them that they're like, oh, I'm out here in a parks and rec facility, but it's it connects our communities, and I can't even describe how much the healthy the aspect it comes within our communities and how much it brings them together.
Mm. Now, would you say is your why? Why did you or why are you continuing to choose Parks and Recreation as a place to for your career? Kind of what motivates you to stay in this industry?
I think it's just being able to serve the community. It's even when I was in college and I didn't realize that I was going to end up in this industry, I still wanted to serve the public. I wanted to be in some type of healthcare or something like that. So I get to do that here. I get to engage with the community. I get to serve them. I get to provide amazing spaces for them, amazing opportunities for them to bring their families out. I have two young kids of my own, and so when I think about our facilities, about our parks, about our events, I think about those are the things that they're going to remember. Those are the opportunities that we're going out and we're sharing as a family. So I want to be able to provide those type of opportunities for the families in our community here in Richardson, that are memorable experiences and positive experiences for them, to come out and enjoy and form that great relationship, and have those, like I say, those memorable experiences, as they go forward.
Yeah, that's definitely a great industry that gives a lot back, not just to the community, but to the people that work inside the industry.
Yeah,
Really, it's quite
absolutely.
a fulfilling career. Okay, so our next show is on youth sports. It's called the Youth Sports Mastery Show every Thursday with my host, co-host Aaron Locks, who's has 40 years in the industry. So, tell me a little bit about youth sports in Richardson. What do y'all do? What kind of programming do y'all offer for all things youth sports?
So all of our youth programs are actually contracted out with kind of local associations.
Mhm.
At least in this area, that's become a more popular thing where they're essentially renting the space for us, and we're just kind of providing field allocations to them. But we have, the Richardson Youth Soccer Association and so on, where we are maybe not as much in-house as we used to be, but we're still able to provide those services to the community through these youth associations, and we're still able to obviously partner with them and convey kind of our mission and our goals for those youth programs as well.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have and I'll play a little promo to give you a chance to think about how you're going to answer this question. But I'll play our U Sports Mastery promo followed by our YPN promo, which is our Friday show. But the
Okay.
question for you comes from Monica in Lower Makefield, Pennsylvania. She was our show guest yesterday. Her question for you is, what is a leadership lesson that took you a long time to learn but made you change or had the most influence on having you evolve?
Okay.
And then I'll need you to think about a question you would like to leave for my next guest. So I'll play these two promos and then we'll come back and get your answer for that.
Okay.
At DPRS Media Co., we don't just create content, we elevate community through storytelling. Now, we're proud to introduce the newest addition to the family. Welcome to Youth Sports Mastery, the podcast where champions are shaped, not just on the field, but in life. Hosted by National Academy of Athletics founder Aaron Locks. Youth Sports Mastery, dives deep into how youth sports can empower kids, strengthen communities, and build leaders. From coaching culture to recreation strategy, and from player development to parent impact, every episode brings game-ready insight from the people making it happen. Youth Sports Mastery goes live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, sponsored by National Academy of Athletics and powered by DPRS Media Co. This is where purpose meets play.
Are you ready to lead the next generation of Parks and Rec? Whether you're a student, intern, or rising leader, welcome to the Young Professionals Network by DPRS Media Co. Our mission? To empower early career professionals in parks and recreation through mentorship, visibility, and real-world leadership development. Our vision? A national network of passionate, prepared, and purpose-driven leaders who shape the future of public service. Starting now. Powered by the Daily Parks and Rec Show, YPN gives you access to exclusive interviews, career-building resources, behind-the-scenes content, and live events, all created by and for the next wave of Parks and Rec professionals. Learn from seasoned directors, build your brand, get involved with national conversations that matter. Whether you're in youth sports, facilities, programming, or policy, YPN is your launchpad. Young Professionals Network, your career, your community, your story.
All right. So leadership lesson that took you the longest to learn, but it made the biggest difference.
I think it's just what's the leadership approach that I'm going to have for my staff and for the people that I impact. And I honestly don't even like to call them a staff. I like to call them my team. And I think that it was, it's not just what's the approach. I always knew, kind of coming through athletics that my approach was kind of a coaching approach. And you could probably ask any of my staff, and that's exactly what they would tell you that I do, because I'm just the person that's going to sit down and talk through the thing with you and kind of help you figure out the best path forward. But not even just the approach, but like, what are those core principles? What are the things that you want to make sure that you kind of convey to your team on, this is what we're being intentional about. This is what what's going to be our driving force. So those for me, and the things that, they're all going to watch this and they're all going to roll their eyes probably. But for me, it's safety first. So you could have the most beautiful facility, the most, wonderful camp, the most whatever. But if a parent walks in and they don't feel safe when they're dropping off their kid, or if someone's in our fitness center and they don't feel safe because of something that's happening, it doesn't matter if you have the greatest, whatever, 50, $60 million facility. If people don't feel safe in it, or they don't feel safe in your programs, that's all they're going to remember. All they're going to remember is the way that it made them feel. And the rest of it's not going to matter at all. The next one is, always make things better. So as we go through and look at our programs, as we walk through our facilities each month and do our walkthroughs, what are the little things, what are the little changes that we can make to make those improvements, so that the next time someone comes to that program, the next time somebody walks in, the next time whatever, we're getting slightly better every single day. So what are those small impacts that we can continuously look for? Next one after that is exceeding expectations. So somebody comes to us as a problem. How do we not just meet the need, but how do we exceed the need? How do we take whatever their problem is and go so far above and beyond that they're like, that was incredible, and I'm absolutely coming back to this place. We're not just solving their problem, but oh, here's the solution, but we actually took it a step further, and we made sure that we did X, Y, Z to make sure it would never happen again, and that not only that, but the experience is now even better than it was before. The next one is, and this is something that we definitely look for when we hire people, and I think I'm fortunate. I have an amazing team here that definitely conveys this, which is serving with a servant's heart. You have to be someone that is willing to serve the community, that has that heart for it, that that's the person that's going to come in every single day and be that same person again and again and again. for the community, and be that person that's willing to serve and step up and make those impacts that we can within our department for our residents. And then the last one, and something that I think is definitely a strong one for our team as well, and strong one for anyone that's really going to succeed in this industry or any, is be someone that never stops learning. So be that person that is always looking for an opportunity to get a little bit better. I use an example of, I was in a leadership group in the previous city that I worked for, and we had a director from that city step in and take the leadership academy that I was in, that was like a year-long academy. And she had, at the end of that, she had 6 months left in her tenure, where before she was going to retire. And she said, I want to get, even if it's for the last 6 months, I want to get that a little bit better so that I can pass that on to the next person. And I said, that is such a perfect example of what we're looking for. But, I try to convey all those things to our staff. Like I say, they're probably going to roll their eyes when they watch this and hear, because I just talk about them all the time. But if we can have that mindset, if we can have that mentality when we're coming in and forming programs or talking about our facilities or whatever, I think we can create an amazing experience for our community, whether it be in a park or in a program or a facility or whatever we're talking about.
Yeah. Jonathan, I think you should set the record for the best answer to a question that I've asked on here. And I didn't give him that, for those listening, I didn't give him that question until like 2 minutes ago. So outstanding answer. Okay, so what question would you like to leave from our next guest?
It's probably a much shorter one than that, but it's, I love the, working with the young professionals. I love working with my team on development. So it's, what would your advice be for your young professionals? As someone that's coming into your team, how would you guide them? And how would you kind of set them up for success within their career?
I love it. Yeah, that's gonna be a great one. And I'm so glad that you and so many others are focusing on the young professionals, because really, sometimes the best way to learn something is to teach it. That when you set yourself up as a teacher,
Absolutely.
you almost have to become a master of it. Even if you're not, by the end of you teaching something, you'll master it. That's fantastic. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And why don't you say one more time the name of your Facebook group,
Oh,
so that
yeah.
more people can join in.
Yeah, it's the Rec Network. So we would love to have you as part of our conversations that we're having in there, and just our community in general.
Fantastic. Well, man, thank you again for coming on the show. Thank you for everything you do for the Parks and Rec industry, and definitely keep going, and let me know any way that we can help with the Daily Parks and Rec show. Any content creator, and this goes out not just to you, but all content creators in the Parks and Rec industry, please reach out to us. We'd love to help y'all out, even if it's just telling you what sound equipment we use, or what, how we edit, or the editing software. Sometimes just getting started, some of that software stack and hardware stack can be intimidating, but maybe we can help you get there a little bit quicker. But appreciate you coming on the show today, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Yes. So thanks so much for having me. I honestly had no idea what I was going to talk about for an hour, but here we are. So thanks so much for having me. It's been great, and looking forward to staying connected with you.
Fantastic, man. You did great today. Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Bye. All right. So another great Parks and Rec professional episode on our leadership series with Jonathan Winters over there at Richardson, Texas. Man, it seems like every time I interview somebody from Texas, they really do it right, and they've got so much innovation going on, from how they look at managing their facilities to robotics to special events. Those special events really are just exploding all over the country, especially with these kind of mega events where you've got 30, 40, 50,000 people showing up for some arts festival. And it really is a way to highlight our community and display the culture. So great job in Richardson, Texas. All right, so we have an exciting week. I've got coming up next our Youth Sports Mastery show every week, every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Our host, Aaron Locks with the National Academy of Athletics. He is one of our first strategic partners that was like, Craig, I want to help you create this media company for the Parks and Rec industry. So this is a really good show. And Aaron has probably one of the best networks in youth sports I've ever come across or seen. And I've been involved in sports and youth sports my entire life. And I'm just blown away by the level of excellence of his guests, from the guest speakers to the topics they discuss. So if you're interested in anything youth sports, don't miss out on our Thursday show. Aaron just does a great job hosting that. And then tomorrow, hosted by our newest addition to the team, our first intern, Michael Moreau out in Pennsylvania, will be hosting our Friday show. I interviewed him yesterday as our first stab at him kind of taking over. So this Friday is our first one that he'll be doing. So I'm looking forward to that and really developing our internship program. Let me speak a little bit about our internship program and kind of what our thoughts are around it. And again, this is kind of very rough. It's just somewhat of a vision, but after speaking with a lot of people in the YPN network, and after speaking with a lot of Parks and Rec departments that have strong, robust internship programs. Shout out to Henry County, Georgia, one of the best internship programs I've ever come across. Thomas is just a force of nature, and these interns are just super powerful in what they do inside the Parks and Rec department over at Henry County, Georgia. And, after talking with a lot of these interns and internship programs, I was like, you know what, we need to start our own internship program for the Daily Parks and Rec show. So I reached out to a couple of them, and then lo and behold, one of my guests, Monica, actually yesterday's guest, said, well, I have an intern that would love it. He's in broadcast journalism. So as soon as we hang up, we ended up on the phone, and literally the next week we started with this. And so I do encourage all Parks and Rec department, if you don't have an internship program, just kind of start. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to Thomas White. He has an amazing internship program, an amazing culture around interns coming into their Parks and Rec department. So our internship program, our goal is to prepare somebody in broadcast journalism or somebody that wants to be part of the social media content creation thing that's going on across the nation. And they will actually learn how to create content, how to do interviews, how to recruit show guests, how to do show prep calls. And then we teach them all about the software and the hardware stack that we use to capture that content. And then, as content creators knows, there's two more steps to creating content. After you capture it, then you got to edit it and prepare it for wide distribution. And so there's certain types of video editing, sound editing, creating thumbnails and images and stuff, because you've got all these social media platforms that all are a little bit different on the what type of content you would want on them. And then the last arm, which is probably the most powerful, is distributing that content. We call that the distribution stage. And that's where you're posting your content on Facebook or on Instagram or on LinkedIn or on X. And then that community engagement, which, as Jonathan alluded to, is a really big part of building your community, having that engagement where they feel like they're part of a living, breathing community that's online on the subject matter and paying attention to your content. And so our interns will basically learn all of that from start to finish, so that when they leave, hopefully, they will be very prepared to work in a Parks and Rec department in their marketing side of Parks and Rec and help grow your online presence and get the word out about everything that's happening in your community. So this will be preparing them to giving them a lot of good soft skills that makes them very employable, and they can get real world experience by helping us to create the Daily Parks and Rec show. So that's kind of our internship program. Aspirationally, we would love to have 4 interns every semester, and then also our summer internship program. And so that would, hopefully we can crank out 12 interns a year, and then give that back to the Parks and Rec industry as bringing in the next generation of young professionals, hopefully in the marketing departments, because we want to do our part in growing this industry. All right, so we are currently packing for a big 3-week road trip. The Daily Parks and Rec show is now going on the road. A lot of y'all saw the work that we did at NRPA, interviewing somewhere between 30 and 40 participants in NRPA. We are now doing the same thing for the state of Georgia, Kentucky, and Louisiana. Georgia is happening. We're heading out on Sunday. We'll be there till Friday. We've got a lot of great people that we're interviewing, from vendors, attendees, people that are putting on the annual convention for the state of Georgia. And then we'll do a repeat on Kentucky and Louisiana. And one of the things that we're trying to do is really capture the spirit of a Parks and Rec Association state annual event. And so we're going to do a better job in capturing the vendor hall, capturing the breakout sessions, the opening sessions, all the different stuff that happens. And then we'll take it back to our production and hopefully make a really good 1 or 2 minute, almost like a commercial for the state of Georgia, for the state of Kentucky, for the state of Louisiana, to really promote the work that they do every year, year in, year out, for their Parks and Rec communities inside of each of those states. So that'll be a great give back for them, and it'll give us a lot of the experience we need to be a true media company representing this industry. So really excited about that. Now, the normal programming will not be happening for the first 3 weeks, but you will see a massive chunk of content coming out. Like I said, I think we're going to hit about 90 shows, 90 to 100 shows just in the month of November. And so if you are interested in the Daily Parks and Rec Show coming to your state convention, please reach out to me. We can't attend all of them, but we'd like to attend maybe 12, 15 in 2026. And I think we've got a lot already scheduled, but we still have a little bit of bandwidth available for that. So if you work within a state association, you'd like to see the Daily Parks and Rec Show attend, just hit me up on LinkedIn and we'll get that conversation going. Okay, so I've only got a few more minutes before Aaron Locks comes on with the Youth Sports Mastery Show. So hang on, grab yourself another cup of coffee, and stay tuned for the Youth Sports Mastery Show, which is every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern. See y'all here shortly. Y'all have a great day. Love you guys. Thanks. Bye.
At DPRS Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of Parks and Rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Youth Sports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post, we're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec together.